Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another episode of Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you live. I saw the people asking if this was a live show. It is a live show. My name is VashSky. I'm going to be your host of today's ceremonies, and with me, to my, I think it's the right. I'm pretty sure it's right this time. I don't know. It's going to be the one, the amazing, the Spectre with the most to share from the wisdom of the great beyond. It is the LW Ghost, Lou. Hello there, sir.
Well, I'm alive, too, in manner of speaking, but here I am speaking, so I must be alive.
Yes.
But thank you all for watching last week when we had to pre-record. I watched it from the road and said, gee, those guys are good. I guess I'll tune in next week. And here I am.
Yeah, tuned in order to join this time, Lou. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, you know, those original shows right there where they weren't actually live, where they were just recorded between you and I, definitely gave me the feels right there. And it looks like people appreciated that. So, you know, who knows? We might be doing more recorded broadcasts in the future. But here,
I don't know.
We've got to give you all the stuff that is going live right now. And boy, Lou, and I was actually just at Disneyland yesterday. And I'm running on a little bit of sleep. But as I was there, I was reminded at the connections between Disneyland and Hollywood. In fact, I actually did get to see the robotic audio animatronic Walt, Lou. And when I was there and they had the one-man stream playing, you had Bob Iger speaking over, and then you had Hollywood and Walt's connection to coming out back east over to Hollywood, setting up stakes and all of that. I was like, man, this town is really something special.
It was. It may be again in several centuries, but meanwhile, as the story I gave you just before we started, even Playboy is leaving Hollywood and moving to Miami Beach, and specifically citing the insane cost of doing business there.
Yeah, check this out, guys. Let me see if I can go ahead and share my screen here.
So when you lose the bunnies, Gavin, you're losing a lot. What can I say?
Yeah, that's the bottom line here. Let me see if I can share my screen to an article that Lou sent me before we went live. It's from Breitbart. Playboy leaves anti-business LA, California for Miami Beach. Man, like you said, Lou, when you lose the bunnies, now you just lost about everybody. Playboy is moving its corporate headquarters from Los Angeles to Miami Beach, Florida, with the CEO of the pioneering men's entertainment company and liberal outlet describing California as hostile to business. Los Angeles Times reported, this quote from them, Playboy Enterprises announced on Wednesday that it will relocate its headquarters from Los Angeles to Miami Beach, becoming the latest high-profile company to abandon California in favor of what some call more business-friendly environments. Ben Kong, chief executive of Playboy, described California as being, quote, anti-business, saying the state is in a, quote, extremely expensive place to operate. And they're excited about going to Miami Beach. Lou, if Playboy
and notice, by the way, the next paragraph after his quote, simultaneously, it couldn't be connected. They're going back to, the Sydney Sweeney side of the female perspective instead of the plus size models and transgender playmates. So, and what a shock. You mean Playboy is actually going to say, no, we know you don't read us for the articles. We read you for the illustrations. How should we put it? So anyway.
No B-roll on this guy right here, because boy, oh boy, we would get in so much trouble. But I mean, it is so invariably linked to Hollywood, Playboy. That
the very first centerfold was Marilyn Monroe.
That's a good point right there. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yes, I mean it's inextricably linked in that regard. And I believe like Holly Madison, for example, I know she's a big Disneyland fan. She lives out there in Southern California. I can't think of it. But honestly,
the only difference let's be patriotic about this and say the only difference between Holly Madison and Dolly Madison is the size of their cupcakes. And speaking of which, did you see what Sydney Sweeney is endorsing now as their spokesperson?
Oh, who's that?
If I said it had 2 scoops, would that help you?
Oh,
Baskin Robbins.
yes.
Even though
yes,
she's
I did
definitely
see
larger
that.
than 31 flavors, but anyway, she's now officially the ice cream girl, and I think that's swell.
With the
Jeans
jokes
and ice cream, and who makes apple pie? I guess to make the American dream round out complete. Anyway,
you can get some Baskin Robbins on the side of your apple pie. That's actually a nice winning combination right there.
There you go.
So that's funny though. But I just think, Lou, I mean, it's like if you didn't have to operate in LA, really, why would you? I mean, at this point right now, I think
I didn't, so I left.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of operators and proprietors and everybody working in the biz thinks, okay, well, this is the center of the biz. Everybody else is here. Now everybody else is kind of gone. So
that's why God invented Zoom, and you can conference with people anywhere.
Yeah, I guess so. Boy, that is really something right there. And unfortunately, we did lose somebody very recently. It's like actor Terence Stamp, star of Superman film, dies at age 87.
He did so much more than Superman. The idea that that's the headline they chose. Anyway, talented man.
I personally liked him as the first Chancellor Valorum before Chancellor Palpatine took the throne. No, I mean it's what is it? That's a Phantom Menace reference. But boy, Terence Stamp, I was actually going over his profile, and I was amazed how much how many roles he played in his very kind of prolific career. Lou, do you have anything to add?
Well, yeah. I mean, he worked for Fellini. He worked in Hollywood. He spanned the range of possibilities, and only got better the older he got, like a few of us do. You're getting better the older you get, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I make plenty of mistakes, but hopefully I learn from them. No, I mean Terence has just such a very signature look, and he just has a presence on screen, which is makes him perfect for Zod, of course. But I remember even like when I was a kid watching Phantom Menace, I was like, man, that guy is really, really something. You would almost thought he was the Emperor. Maybe that was the point from George Lucas to include him in that regard. But I just, it's really sad to lose these figures who.
Well,
okay.
We are living at the end of an era, and that's what happens is people die. So,
yeah, I suppose so. Well, rest in peace, Terence. That is heartbreaking to witness. I know. I was very surprised by the news this morning, and I want to go ahead and include him here because, hey, you know what? That's what Hollywood Backlot is all about. Also, too, let me see if I can bring this up on screen. We talked, I was going to say last week, but it really was 2 weeks ago, the filming that was occurring in Glasgow featuring Spider-Man. And at that time, we had like maybe one action scene that was filmed by that point, but it was a whole bunch of, almost like you could call them publicity shots. Although they were shots of the production, there wasn't much action actually taking place. But here, boy, I have never, ever seen so much buzz and hype surrounding a film that is actively shooting in kind of downtown Glasgow there in this way, Lou. I mean, I have seen posts and photos and video everywhere. You can see in this role later on, actually, we have the stunt performer actually like swinging from building to building, like you would see in the comics or in a movie and so forth. You can see right here some action sequences actually taking place.
Yeah.
This is.
I suppose they're actually learning from Chris Nolan that if you do it in the camera, it reads real.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're reading, Lou. But more than that, though, I mean, there's a buzz and excitement for this film that I haven't really felt towards possibly any other Marvel film, especially Phase 5 or 6 film, probably since the last Spider-Man. And we know that was because they had a bunch of cameos from previous Spider-Man actors portraying characters in there. Lou, some people are saying, well, why is there any point to actually going to this film? People have already pretty much seen it. I think I think this is a good move. But what do you think about having a production so open to the public in this way, especially in the social media?
On city streets, you're more or less stuck with it. But at the same time, you know what they say about as long as they spell your name right. It certainly reminds people that the character and the movie are alive and coming soon and all the rest of that stuff. There is a certain amount of giving away how it's done that is to some degree negative, but and net, I think it's a good thing for the picture and a good thing for them. So,
yeah, I think it's a good thing from promotion. And look, I mean, I'm a guy who I don't look at the behind the scenes filmmaking. I mean, this is kind of why we're doing a show like this, to be honest with you. I don't see behind the scenes filmmaking as breaking the magic. I actually think of it as almost strengthening it, because when you see the amount of effort and time and energy that actually goes into these shots, like what you're saying right there, it makes me appreciate it more, not less. And so I've never really had this reaction where it's like, you're breaking or spoiling the magic. It's like, just like the behind the scenes nature of the Disney parks. I actually am reinvigorated when seeing stuff like this. But,
and we'll never know. We'll never know if they had hidden this, whether it would have made it better. I've always said I understood that they were worried about the film and it was taking longer and it was expensive. And that's why Universal decided to publicize the mechanical shark on Jaws. But I always thought the movie would have been even more frightening if you didn't have it rubbed in your nose that it was. You weren't sitting there watching, look at that amazingly realistic mechanical shark, but just saying, oh God, the shark's about to eat that girl. So anyway,
that's actually a good point. I think with something like that's like almost like a villain character, or when you have a horror flick and you're trying to hide the monster, I think there's something to be said about that for sure. I think if they would have overexposed, I don't know, the original Alien or something like that, wouldn't have been as frightening than what was actually depicted on screen, and obviously with lack of publicity and marketing beforehand. I just think stuff like this, though, I think it actually does enhance the film. But I like that delineation and distinction, Lou. Very, very interesting. Well, I got to be honest. I've really never been excited for a Marvel film, but after seeing this, you might actually catch me in the theater, excited to see a Marvel film and not just being like, I got to see this for work. So it's pretty cool stuff.
It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to eat all that popcorn out of those buckets.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point, Lou. Where am I going to put that Galactus popcorn bucket?
I'm just shocked that they allow them to set off those pyros instead of doing it CGI, because oh my God, global warming, pollution.
Yeah,
how dare they make smoke?
That's a fair point, Lou. Well, maybe that's why they had to film in Glasgow, because Los Angeles wouldn't let them. I doubt it, but that's
if anybody out there in the world has ever been to Glasgow, you wouldn't think Glasgow looks like New York, but if you find the right spot, I guess you can make it work. So.
Oh, this is kind of interesting right here. Jen Monroe says, sometimes it does ruin the magic, but even using the behind the scenes stuff for this movie, it's only a few minutes. I think that if you had to redo your commute every day for a month, magic spoiled.
Well, there is that. There is that.
That's a fair point. Yeah. People of Glasgow, sorry. you had to accommodate for production, filmmaking, and stuff like that. We also got some scenes. There's some spoilers.
I'd rather accommodate a movie than idiots gluing themselves to the ground to protest something.
Yeah, that's a fair
given the choice
point right there. Oh yeah, don't disagree right there. Look at that. That is, man, that's
pretty fantastic gizmo on that thing when you consider, center of gravity and height and balance and everything. It's pretty super.
That's pretty great stuff right there. Oh, yeah. Man, that's fantastic. That could be a show at Universal Studios Hollywood tomorrow, Lou.
Absolutely. See, and that was the thing, the stunt shows at Universal were really the only place where you saw the whole sequence in sequence, because on a real movie, you shot it in 43 pieces and cut it together.
That's a good point.
And that's harder to do it that way, to get it all in one go.
Yeah, and this way you could actually see the setup. You can actually take down the reset, that kind of thing. All the stuff that actually goes into a sequence like that, play it out obviously in front of an audience, so they can really appreciate from them to stern what you're actually doing, and then the takedown right there. It's a really good point. I miss the days when Universal really kind of leaned into that. I know they're going for more experiential entertainment. It's bringing the movies alive rather than
ride them,
showing you behind the scenes and how they're created and stuff like that. But just I think there is.
On the other hand, of course, Disney's Hollywood studios are going totally away from that.
Yeah.
They're just kind of, well, this is an IP and it comes from a movie, so it goes in this park. Not any rhyme or reason to it in an overall scheme of things.
Correct.
Yeah, I've read many people suggesting that they'll rename it the way they're renaming France soon, because it won't be what it was.
That's not good right there.
Although, if you think about it, one of the best things in that park has been there since, I think, day one, which is that indie stunt show. So there you go.
Yes, the indie stunt show is there. And I think that's what I was. Yeah, that and Lights Motor Action or whatever, that was there for a period of time before Star Wars Galaxy's Edge took up precedence. I think those experiences right there. I think there's still value in those. However, I have heard the kind of steel man this, I guess. The argument against those is that with the proliferation of Blu-ray and DVD extras on discs and so forth, and the making ofs, it's now become, I think, less interesting to a casual audience on how a movie is made, only because there are more resources than ever describing how that process is actually done.
Yeah, and some people are into it and some aren't. I mean, I can get my wonderful wife to watch a lot of movies, but the special features, she has zero interest whatsoever.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there you go.
Whereas, hey, if it's presented in like a show format, like Indiana Jones, or maybe the stunt shows of yore at Universal Studios Hollywood, maybe that would be a different story.
Yeah, because, well, and also in those stunt shows, in addition to the context of the movie that they're, basing themselves on, you're admiring the performers doing what they're doing in front of you live every day. It's in a way, it's like a sporting event where you're looking at people who do things you can't do and marveling at their expertise and their athleticism and all the rest of it. So, different strokes. But anyway.
Oh, yes. I just love that stuff. So, moving on right there. Also, too, I don't know if you heard, Lou, the Odyssey has finished or wrapped up filming.
Of everything, or just that stuff at Falls Lake?
Just the stuff at Falls Lake, yeah.
Okay.
The tweet there, and I lost it. Let's see if I
and Christopher Nolan doesn't do reshoots, so when he says they're done, they're done. What a shock! I'm just mentioning this for movie history's sake, because people forget that people actually used to wrap a film, or a location and move on. So.
Isn't that crazy how that's all changed? I guess.
It's interesting because last night we recorded a couple more genre guys. We did Darkest Hour, which of course is the amazing portrayal of Churchill by Gary Oldman. Yeah. And for something completely different, we did The Silencers, the first of the Dean Martin, Matt Helm spy spoofs. But our next, because even though they play out one a week, we're recording two at a time and taking a week off because of schedule conflicts and that sort of thing. But for our next one, we're doing kind of a film noir double feature. We're doing The Maltese Falcon, the original. Well, not the original, but the Bogart one that everybody knows. And then we're going to do Touch of Evil. And I don't know how many people out there have seen Touch of Evil. But Heston tells a story about how they called him about it and sent him the script. And he read it and he said, look, guys, other than Westerns, movies about, police movies of one kind or another have been the most done. So you're never going to be original in this thing. So it's all about who directs it. And they said, well, we haven't quite figured that out yet. And he said, well, you've got Orson Welles to be in it. Why don't you ask him to direct it? And he said there was this long silence on the other end from Universal. And finally, well, we'll look into that. And then Welles says they called him and said, would you like to direct it? And we can't pay you any more money than we're paying you to be in it. And he said, I'll direct it only if I can rewrite it too. They said, well, we're starting shooting in 2 weeks. He said, okay. And for 10 days, he and a squad of secretaries completely rewrote the script. And they made the movie. But Heston brings out, I don't know if you've ever seen the film or if those out there have, there's a scene where Heston and Welles are going down this stairway and there's Marlene Dietrich in it too. They're going down this stairway inside the police station. And Welles had a rap that he took too long and he overshot and he screwed up budgets and schedules and went too long. And they took all day to do this one 3 or 4 or 5 page scene in this stairwell with one shot coming down the stairway, covering the two of them talking. And everybody thought, oh my God, we'll be taking this in one shot for one whole day. We're going to be way behind. And when they got done, Orson turned to Heston and said, that was scheduled for 4 or 5 days. I'm now 3 or 4 days ahead. Thank you. Move on. So it ain't, it's all about how you do what you do. And it's a great, great movie.
I suppose so.
Strange Vengeance. And really Marlene Dietrich's last great performance.
Yeah.
And there's Akim Tamirov, Russian actor playing Mexican gang lord. And it's a great picture. You'll enjoy it when you see it on the Genre Guys. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it now and be ready. But anyway, and then they finished the film. They went into post. He turned in his first rough cut and they fired him. He said they couldn't get anybody to tell him why. Heston said he couldn't get anybody to tell him why, but the studio recut it to some degree. The parts of it they couldn't because he shot it only to be cut the one way, the way that Hitchcock used to do. Yeah, there's Falls Lake, and there's that wall, and there's the Odyssey. What's the name of the boat? I forget what the name of the boat is in the Odyssey. But anyway,
that's Odyssey. No, that's not it.
Oh, that's his name.
Yeah, that's his name. But I bring this up because this might actually be the last production actually filmed at Falls Lake. We don't know that for sure.
Because they're talking about tearing it out for more theme park area.
Correct. And there is a lot of theme park real estate to be found here if they actually decide to do that. I understand it on a certain level, right? If you have less productions actually taking place in Hollywood, do you necessarily need all that downstage space? Again, we've talked about before, Lou, how
and they were building them like crazy not 5-6 years ago. But by the way, speaking of less shooting in Hollywood,
please.
I don't know if you've seen the latest news out of the Writers Guild. Have you?
No.
Oh, yeah. The Writers Guild has announced, and I know this because it was called to my attention. There's a story in the Hollywood Reporter, and I have written an article about this subject that will be appearing sometime today on thatparkplace.com. The Writers Guild thinks that they should recruit writers for online stuff, for podcasts and quote-unquote verticals, because they want to make up for the fact that there are less and less writers working in Hollywood because there's less and less production. It's a silly idea, and I go into the details as to why, but it's all being touted by the people running for the board at the Writers Guild, giving them a good campaign talking point. But I could go into all the reasons why it's stupid. But
Well, I'd love to. I'd love to. Love to
well,
get
well,
it,
look. First of all, you got to understand why there are fewer writers working, and why podcasts and things would have no reason to organize. Remember, the reason why you have a union is for three things. One, money, minimum wages, which are minimums, and stars negotiate way above those minimums. Two, benefits, pension and health plans. There we go. Oh, it's up. It wasn't up an hour ago when I checked, but I was told by our editor supreme that it was going to be there, and there it is.
I'll go ahead and throw it in the chat. But
yes.
Please go ahead.
And then the third thing is what's called working conditions, which is everything from creative rights to how late you have to work and all the rest of that. Well, first of all, since the guilds negotiate a minimum, why would all of these one-man band, three-man, you and your three best friends who are making a podcast, which even we, although we have a larger group of people than that, apply, why would we want to have a minimum which became in effect a maximum, because we're not stars? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Secondly, in order to qualify for pension and health plans, you have to make a certain amount of income and or work a certain amount of hours, depending on the rules of the particular guild, which is why, for example, as I've mentioned before, a lot of people in the below the line stuff in the IA are having trouble, because where if they used to get on a TV series and it ran 26 or 23 or 25 episodes, that was pretty close, because theirs is based on hours worked, not on money made. That was pretty close to getting you there. If you got a pilot or two, you were there for the year. But now when they only make 8 or 10, all the money you get paid in the world doesn't make up for the fact that you don't have the hours. So gotcha. It was once estimated, this is 3 or 4 years ago, I guess it was, they did a study of the Screen Actors Guild, and they found that out of the 165,000 members, which is anybody who ever acted in more than one movie, because you have to you don't have to get in on the first one. On the second one, what they call is Taft-Hartley you into the union. Out of that 165,000 people, 90% of all the income was made by 2,500 people.
Whoa.
So the point is, it's a lot of people calling themselves actors, believing in themselves as actors, but as far as their average day-to-day, everything they do to make a living, they were shoe salesmen, they were waiters, they were dry cleaners, whatever they did. So everybody's paying in, you understand, which is why there's a lot of money in the pension and in the health plan, but not everybody's taking back out. So that reason is not there for a podcaster or a vertical, as they call it. Mm. But the third reason, the working conditions thing, is certainly not there. And then you get to the question, well, how come fewer people are working after they just went to strike and got this great contract that they thought was wonderful? Because the reason they were given what they were given was the producers are smarter than they are. And here's what I mean. Back in the old days, if you had an idea for a TV show, let's say, or a movie, but especially a TV show, and you were, a writer, director, producer, kind of entrepreneurial guy, showrunner, you got together with 4 or 5 friends and you kicked it around for a couple of weeks and you decided, well, that'll work, or no, here's the reason why it won't work. Let's try something else. Fine. Fair enough. No harm, no foul. And if they were your buddies, you paid them something for their time. But there was no rule. Well, the Writers Guild came in and said, well, that's not fair. We should have minimums and rules and standards. Lou? Yeah.
Lou?
Yes.
Lou?
I'm here.
Lou?
I'm talking.
Did I drop out? Or did Lou drop out? Chat.
I hear me.
No. Who can you hear?
Well, gee, I can see the
you
little
hear me at all.
thing wiggling. You don't hear me?
Did I drop out?
That's strange.
I don't think I dropped out.
I hear me. I don't know.
Showing live. Yeah.
Well,
help me out.
Gee.
What is going on?
Well, see, somebody in the chat says they can hear both and you dropped out. So there you go. But anyway, what they put in the new contract is, if you want to explore the possibilities of a new idea, you have to put together a writer's room of, I think it's 10 or 12 or 13 people, and they have to work for a minimum of, I think it's 6 or 8 weeks, and they have to get paid guild minimum plus benefits. Suddenly this, let's see if we've got something, becomes a really expensive proposition. And so the net is they don't do it. And that's why they're not working, because their wonderful new contract almost guaranteed that people wouldn't get hired when they should be. Are we good technically? I see my little ring bouncing, which implies there's a sound. I don't know. We can hear each other. Yes. Lou only now. Yeah, well, okay. Vash, say something. Anyhow, it ain't going to happen, is the bottom line. Now, I don't hear you at all now. Anyway, read the article. You'll find out more, folks, and we'll figure out this technical glitch and move on, I guess. Vash, you're muted, everybody is saying in the chat. Can you hear me, Vash?
Test 1 2.
There you are.
Okay. I am so sorry, guys. My audio interface kicked Lou off and then it kicked me off. So
it's audio interface. It's not a damn microphone. It's an audio interface.
yes.
I wasn't fired. I was seasonally readjusted. I'm not a janitor. I'm a sanitation engineer, please. But anyway,
I am so sorry, guys. What was going on? And it was fantastic. It was beautiful, and then I ruined the show. So
no, oh God, this too shall pass.
This too shall pass, I suppose.
Just say a mea culpa, mea maxima culpa, and move on. You know.
You said something very interesting, Lou. That
I hope so.
I wanted to get back to the idea that only a certain number of the guild actually contributes towards, actually being in the business.
Well, they contribute. They just don't get the benefits because they don't contribute enough in a calendar year or however the thing is measured.
And are they included just because it's like, hey, we're showing growth or we're showing a bunch of people actually?
Wait, included in what? They don't get the benefits.
Yeah.
You have to make either, depending on which guild you're in or which union, you either have to make a certain amount of money or work a certain number of hours.
Right.
To be what's called vested in a pension plan or a health plan. And you have to do it every year. So most don't. And the change in the business to this 8-episode, 10-episode thing has made that even more difficult for people. So
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Hollywood.
I mean, there was a time there, the Directors Guild has, I think it's $1.5 billion with a B dollars in our pension plan. And I said, well, why don't we all just divvy it up evenly and start over again? But they didn't like my idea. Silly me. But anyway.
I guess not.
Anyway, you can read all about it on thatparkplace.com, the place to go to get the straight poop. Or sometimes crooked poop. It depends on the poop in question.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a boomer. Sometimes, perhaps. No, I had some issues with my laptop and my audio interface for a little while now. I don't really know what's going on.
He's on location, remember, folks, in the vast desert. Not the creative desert, but the actual physical desert. So
yes, indeed, and there's not a lot of power out here in the middle of the desert, as you can possibly imagine. We had to go ahead and hook up the road runners, and they took a break on me. So there you go. That's what happened there. But you know what? Walter Tomaszewski actually came in here before we even went live and included this super chat for us. Thank you so much, Walter. Very much appreciate that.
Yeah, before that, he was talking about it's a club that apparently is getting much less patronage.
Yes, and I can't put this on screen because I've lost them here in the StreamYard. So
well, anyway, he was talking about the place that he works or goes to that is hurting in the new economy, and in COVID, obviously everything shut down, but now there's no excuse, and I'm so tired of people using COVID as an excuse for everything, even now. But
I do have.
I suggested, or rather, not me, but I was reading some of the notes there of people, and it applies to me too. That for me to
Mhm.
get up and go out to whether it's a movie theater or a nightclub or a concert venue, it's
Mhm.
got to be real comfortable and real easy, or I don't bother.
Yeah.
So, and as we all age, such is life. So,
So Walter Tomaszewski, before with 499, Lou and Vash, I worked at a live music venue. It's lost patrons due to shifting generational tastes in entertainment, how new technology presents. And then with another 499, example on your phone, C19 and Boomer die off, leaving tears empty. Where does all this take pop
well,
culture?
the answer is obviously they have to switch their content to something that the audience that's willing to go out will go to see.
That's just it
I mean,
exactly.
I find entertainment in the most curious places. You know, I was on the road this past week.
Yeah.
At this one restaurant that I love, there was a waitress. I would have taken her picture, but I didn't want to embarrass her. She could be Gina Carano's twin. She could be her stunt double if she needed one. And when I told her that, she didn't know who I was talking about.
What?
Yeah.
Don't know who Gina
Oh
Carano
yeah,
is.
the one who was the fighter, the something. And I showed her a picture, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're right." But I mean, this lady at this restaurant, and I say I don't have the photograph, but she, it was scary how close to her she was. And then I find other, excuse me a second.
No, we're going to be talking about Gina Carano very shortly here, so I think this is very apt.
But
Ironically enough.
I find fun wherever I look. On the TV in the hotel room, when they go to the directory of things, I thought, gosh, Cartoon Network's getting kind of racy, isn't it? I wish I could find the picture. I'd show it to you. But you'll just have to take my word for it. Because they were individual half-hour blocks, Cartoon Network was showing what, unless you expanded it, was a show called, are you ready?
Mm.
If I told you it starts with the word teen and the second word starts with a T, can you imagine where they cut off the second word? It was Teen Tit over and over and over again. They meant Titans, but it wouldn't fit in the square. So, you know. I said, my goodness, Cartoon Network's getting a little racy, aren't they? I swear to God, I'll send you the
right
picture.
there.
But
whoops. I thought it was going to be some kind of anime title right there. No, I think you're exactly right, Lou. I mean, if you look at like K-pop Demon Hunters, for example, and it's just going gangbusters, it's going crazy. You look at, I mean, I've heard it from some Generation Z, definitely Alpha, that it's like we're not really into Marvel, the MCU, or even Star Wars because those aren't our franchises. Those are the franchises of generations before us. But even with Disney's attempt to update those things for modern audiences, it doesn't necessarily mean that those franchises appeal to those demographics because it's just
by virtue of the fact that they're old, they don't want to be associated with it because they're young and different.
That's exactly it,
and that's always been the case, you know. So
I know that Pro talks about it all the time. Hey, we're going back to the 80s. 80s are back and new, and it's like, okay, yeah, I don't disagree. I think there are definitely things from the 80s that we all like, but like you said, Lou, you know that you only get so far with that.
Well, and my whole theme song has always been, I mean, when the whole nostalgia for Art Deco in the 1930s and 40s thing came out, it's not that it's old, it's that it's good. And if it's good, it's worthy of watching in any era. And if it isn't, it just being in that style won't help. It's about, pardon me, merit, not labels, not tribes, not, well, you get the idea.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Monroe, COVID scared people. It taught me I didn't have to spend a ton on going out. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a thing for sure. Is that consumer habits changed profoundly, and I think a large parts of the economy and industry itself is attempting to catch up with that for sure. That's not all of it, and I do agree with you, Lou. I think people lean on that maybe a little bit too heavily. At the same time, definitely had a profound effect on many a thing for sure. So it's I just think it's quite fascinating indeed. And then Walter Tomaszewski coming in here with another 199. The venue is Benaroya Hall
Benaroya Hall. I don't know.
in Seattle, home to SSO. So
Seattle Symphony Orchestra, maybe? I'm just guessing, but
perhaps, Walter, we need clarification, not in the form of a super chat, but we need clarification indeed on what this is all about. But thank you so much, Walter. Very much appreciate that. I know you've been a real big supporter of our various channels, that be Pro, that Barclays, and now T3PO. Thank you so much.
Well, and let's speak about the larger impact of the Gina thing,
please.
Which is this: we have now seen twice in the settlement with Gina, and in the break with Colbert. It is very clear that these big companies must be having meetings on the QT all over right now saying, for God's sakes, be careful what you put in your emails and in your chats, because there's got to be stuff that was so volatile and so nasty and so company rep destroying that would have come out in discovery that it was worth paying any price and making any compromise and making any nice statement in order to avoid having that come out. And especially because we know that at the very beginning of this, Gina said that somebody sent her something they shouldn't have sent her, which was copies of what was going on inside. So when she already had it, and they knew she already had it, they sure as hell didn't want it coming out in court, and they couldn't change it or hide it because she would say, oh, well, the original said this. Why'd you change it? That's illegal. So, man, this inside. And the other thing that occurred to me when the Gina settlement came out the other day.
Yep.
KK's gone very soon.
Yeah.
Because this idea of her coming back to work for them as Cara Dune or anything else, with KK still there when she was the one who orchestrated the campaign of hate and harassment against her, I can't see her doing that. I just can't, for no matter how much money they want to pay her, or have to pay her, I should say, not want to, because you can't be in that situation. You just can't, not if you have any kind of integrity, and she certainly does.
It sounded like to me too, Lou, that this was more of an initiation by Disney and not Lucasfilm. Because Lucasfilm were the ones that originally put out the statement and obviously separated with her.
Well, where do you draw the line, though, Vash? One is the other, and the other is one. And
I don't
think they did anything without approval from the shower guy. So,
yeah. Oh well, they never. I mean, the buck stops here.
But at the same time, we will remember that the layoffs and the cancellation stuff at CBS happened before the merger finally went through. And there was a lot of talk of this Barry Weiss coming in and taking over at CBS News. And I could almost guarantee you that she said to them, I'll do it for a lot of money, but I won't do it unless you clean house first. I don't want to be the person who came in and slashed everybody. And I think the same thing is going to be true at Disney for Josh tomorrow. He's going to say, look, I'm the guy that gave you revenue during these next several years that you're going to fart around with your moneymaker. Mm-hmm. With the Arab Park paying for the fall off. And did you see the number that the Orlando tourist people put out saying that they thought that Epic alone, and they don't really mean alone because obviously it's driving the other parks, but Epic caused a $2 billion with a B increase in tourist spending since it opened. Not for the whole year. Yeah, that's what they said.
Whoa, that is huge.
You're damn right, it's huge.
Well, I mean, I was taken aback by the quarter-to-quarter revenue increase just by Epic being part of Comcast earnings for like a month and a half, maybe an increase of 20 to 25%. I mean, that is absolutely massive for one new park when you have already three existing. 3.5, I guess, if you consider Volcano Bay a theme park.
Here's the story
already in the domestic market. I mean, it's just That's just absolutely incredible. I had no idea about that.
Look at that story. Bring that one up.
Yep, absolutely.
From Fox 35 Orlando. $2 billion with a B dollar boost to the Central Florida economy.
Wow, this is news to me, folks.
And this is the thing that Bob Iger told us he didn't have to worry about because they were answering it honestly were by tearing everything down.
Universal's new Epic Universe is expected to generate $2 billion for Central Florida's economy this year. The park has already created more than 65,000 construction jobs and 17,000 permanent positions. Economists say that its impact will ripple far beyond Orlando, reaching statewide and national suppliers. Whoa, that is huge. We know that there has been increased visitation in the Orlando area. We also understand just by the numbers that Comcast has published that the park has done exceedingly well when it comes from a revenue standpoint and has not led to the cannibalization of its other parks, like you said. And
the opposite. I've said, the people who were Disney, and never even once visited Orlando's other attractions, especially Universal, and who were encouraged in that by things like the Magical Express and all the other things that kept them captive on Disney property. This isn't one new park for them. It's 3, or if you include the water park, 4. And it's all the shopping in City Walk and dining. And they're going, wow, this was all here and I didn't know about it. Especially because Universal so wisely did those opening packages where you got 3 days, but only one of them was at Epic. So it forced you to go look at the others. And the fact that they give you the equivalent of the Fast Pass Lightning Lane, whatever they're calling it this week, part of the deal with their high-end hotels that you don't have to pay extra for it. And just a lot of other smart stuff like that.
Yeah.
But $2 billion to the economy of Central Florida. If you're a taxpayer in Orlando, you're very happy because that means they won't go up because they'll be making enough revenue to pay for all the city and county services from this, and they won't need you to cough up double for your tax on building a swimming pool or whatever the hell they've got taxes on there. I don't know.
That is extraordinary. That is extraordinary. Jay, Drunk 3PO from Park Hoppin' over there says this park has been packed without annual pass holders. That's
Good point.
Yeah. I mean, it's straight up revenue. So, Disneyland, even though it can be packed, and I know last night it was actually pretty packed, even though in the day it's pretty low. What happens, right? You have a lot of locals that come in there and will want to take advantage of the nighttime entertainment. They'll come in and they'll go straight back out. So it's really hard to get a sense of just the revenue potential when so many people are paying.
And let's remember that if you have an annual pass, you're probably spending less per visit on merch because you've got all your sweatshirts for this year, and you've got all your goodies. Unless you really desperately want a $400 plastic key.
$6 plastic key and then a $250 big key right there.
Right.
No, it is exactly right there, and so to get a park that is packed with people wanting to go in. I have heard too, Lou, that this isn't the end here. A lot of the international market has been holding off just a little bit, but until Park to Park Pass actually comes online, and we're gonna have a story in that Park Place actually on Tuesday talking about Park to Park Pass and the activation of that. But all of that stuff is going to create a long-lasting difference in subsequent quarters right here. I think it's absolutely very, very cool. Man, that's some great stuff. Getting back to Gina just for a second, I saw a lot of people, they're very much like, oh, I can't believe she settled or whatever. And I know, it was crazy.
I would like to take all those people, set them down and say, listen, you have two choices. You can fight in public for the next year and a half and get all your stuff out. Or we can write you a check for $25 million. Which would you prefer?
Exactly. And in this way, this opens the door.
And it starts her career again. Now, by the way, this settlement is between Disney, Lucasfilm, whoever, and her. I have heard nothing about her agent that dumped her. And I guarantee you they did that out of pressure from Disney. And there's still certainly a lawsuit involved potentially in that.
That's
so,
there. That's really interesting. I told her, I was saying to everybody, look, this was never your fight. It was her fight and her decision to proceed in the way that she wanted, and she was aggrieved, not you. She went through all the pain and suffering being cast out of Hollywood based off of the baseless
and physical danger, people stalking her and camping out outside her house and all kinds of other stuff.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. So to me, this idea that it's like, oh well, I know, well you should have gotten justice for me, or you should have taken it to the mass or whatever. It's never your fight. It was always hers, and it was always her decision to make, and it was always like you said, Lou. It was always her kind of wrongfully injury that she took on, that she had to, that it was within her, right and ability to proceed how she wanted to. She was the one that was injured here, not anybody else. And so I think this is a great result. Honestly, we wanted to see her back in Hollywood. We wanted to see her as part of these productions. And I think we're going to get exactly what we want, and that's fantastic. Because even if she was successful in her lawsuit against Disney, she would have been blacklisted from Hollywood. There's no way anybody would take a chance with her. Yep. And now that changes, and so
and I guarantee you, the settlement, all these things that they've said afterwards, and the nice statement about, we look forward to working with her again, and that was in the settlement, that they had to say that they had to come out and bury the hatchet and say, oh no, we think she's fantastic, and we look forward to working with her again, even if she never works with them again, because without that, the settlement is just money. It's not vindication the way it is with that. Now, the same people who could destroy your life over a beep, bop, boop could suddenly decide you're a marvelous, wonderful person.
Yeah.
The same people who said, you have to have a struggle session with 75 gay people or else. And she said, well, I'll take 4 or 5 to dinner if you want. No, that's not good enough.
God. My heart breaks for what she had to go through and how it all played out in the court of public opinion, and how people cast aspersions on her, and how she was, I say injured because I think that's an appropriate word to actually use here.
Yes.
It's just the hell that she had to go through was so very, very sad. I show images of her Deadpool and stuff like that. I mean, she was a really big rising star. She would have had her own series. Who knows where the Mandalorian universe would have been today had all this not happened. So I think this is absolutely great. I think this is absolutely phenomenal.
And by the same token, when I talk about what would have come out in discovery in the course of a trial, one of her primary examples of the different treatment that her co-stars got compared to her was Peepaw, right? Was that whole thing of, well, he's not exactly the flavor of the week anymore, and the last thing they need is more negatives against him when they've got so much writing on him. So there were a lot of reasons for them to make a deal, and I'm glad they did.
I'm glad they did too, and I'm glad to see her back in the industry, and I'm so glad that Disney licened up to all this and said, you know what, we're happy to work with her again. So all that's good. All that is fantastic. I think this is an excellent showing right here. And I understand, we didn't have the Discovery fireworks that people may have wanted to see. But in the end, what do we most want to see? Justice for Gina. And I think she got it. So that is absolutely fantastic. Also, too, it looks like somebody else is coming back in the fold. Maybe, perhaps, possibly. Some Variety Pirates of the Caribbean producer spoke to Johnny Depp about Jack Sparrow's return in Pirates 6. If he likes the way the part's written, I think he would do it.
But I think the part he would also like would be the number. Because not that he needs money, but that he wants vindication for what they did to him. And how much they pay him is a measure of how much of the apology it is.
It's a very similar thing to the Gina thing, which is kind of interesting. Johnny Depp is possibly eyeing return as Jack Sparrow in a sixth Pirates of the Caribbean movie, at least according to the franchise producer Jerry Bruckheimer in a new interview with Entertainment Weekly. Bruckheimer confirmed that he has spoken to Depp about a new Pirates movie. The producer feels optimistic that Jack Sparrow could be back. If he likes the part that's written, I think he would do it. Bruckheimer told EW, it's all about what's on the page. As we all know, we're still working on a screenplay. We want to make it. We just got to the right, we just got to see the right screenplay, and we haven't quite gotten there yet, but we're close. I'm, I think, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, right after the trial, if they announce a new Pirates movie with Johnny Depp, I mean, that's $1 billion picture, no matter what time, place, marketplace that it opens. Now, I think that's cooled off just a little bit, smidge, but I still think it would be an unbelievably successful vehicle for Johnny Depp, and a vehicle that gets him back to the industry, and you have new validity or credibility restored, right? I think this is also a phenomenal result if he decides to do it.
Plus, it keeps the franchise alive, which
That's
makes
true.
all the previous films viable for longer than they would be otherwise. And all of the merch and all of the everything that's associated with this. So,
I like this comment right here from Ball and Radley's Fun. We already know the title: Pirates of the Caribbean, Beak and Barrel.
God. Oh, God.
Oh, we gotta have that synergy, Lou. You can't not
Well,
have.
if they were
the synergy.
honest, Beak and Barrel would be called the Adventurers Club Pirates of the Caribbean edition. But
Exactly. And look, Johnny Depp is still in the attractions at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, that being Pirates of the Caribbean. He's still there. I just got some role from him actually yesterday, and he was a walk around character. Actually, I got some role of that too yesterday. So like
was it really him?
Wasn't really him.
Oh,
you can definitely tell it was a. Yeah, I know. I was kind of hoping for that as well, Lou. But no, it was it was a face character, and look, people were still like going crazy for him. I mean, he had a big crowd, big line around him, and it just showed like the strength of his character hasn't dropped off at all. In fact, I think it might have even been enhanced by the trial redeeming him in the eyes of the public, the greater public, that is. And I think it's a win. I mean, if it was Bob Chapek, I think it would be a movie tomorrow. In this way, it might take a little bit of time, and who knows what the budget is actually going to be for this. I know they're very expensive films to produce, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Very cool stuff there. We have a couple of jukeboxes, Lou. I know we
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, folks, if you've never clicked on our jukebox selections before, today's your big day.
Mm-hmm.
What if I told you that somebody, an orchestra and a pianist, have put together a piano concerto, a wonderful, wonderful piece of music, 6 minutes, 7 minutes long, of the theme song from McGyver? They have, and we've got it, and you need to turn the lights down, turn your speakers up, and just get swept away by this thing. And as an extra added attraction, if you're looking for something purely movie-based, a soundtrack by a famous guy of a movie I was kind of unaware of until I heard this soundtrack. And that is our second pick of the day, which, Vash, we put that one up. Son of Fury, the story of Benjamin Blake, with Alfred Newman doing this classical Hollywood big bombast theme and soundtrack. So we got music for you today, but man, that McGyver thing is so brilliant and so rhapsodic that it will take you places. Trust me. And it's just, and remember, the reason why we do these is because we can't put music up because we'll get dinged by the gods of YouTube. But some other people who don't give a damn are putting them up, so we can refer to them. So just as well.
Absolutely. I absolutely love your picks, Lou, every single week. I try to take time to listen to them specifically.
And this one, oh God.
Really, really cool stuff.
It's
That was
just
just really, really good.
it's just beyond belief, and you keep hearing the theme sneaking in and wandering away and coming back and sneaking in, and then finally at the end, man, it's uh, testes to the walls, as they say, um, with just the whole orchestra and the percussion and everybody. Also, the largest oboe player on planet Earth is in this orchestra. For what it's worth,
I
God,
like
he's a
the
big
oboe.
man. Yeah, me too. But you see that big white blob behind the letters LO in pianistologique, right? That's one guy playing the oboe. He just has a
Wow.
big white shirt on, and it's anyway. The whole thing is fantastic,
That's
and
it. That's good.
so enjoy it. And we're happy to turn you on to this stuff because we like good stuff, and we cannot lie, as the saying goes.
We do like good stuff. Walter Tomaszewski, where's a link to Lou's essay on maintenance? Sounds like a fascinating read. Do we have that up on the Park Place?
That's also on the site. Yeah, that is a fascinating read. If I do say so myself. But
See if I
that's
can
older,
find
so
that
it might
for
be
you.
further down. And I'm not sure. They're starting to put a lot of mine into what they call the VIP category, where you got to pay a little to get them. I wish they wouldn't, but they know how they're doing the site. But
This one's the
yeah,
one?
maintenance. It's about a week ago, I guess, and on that Park Place. There we go.
There you go, Walter Tomaszewski. I went ahead and put that link in the chat right there, so you can see the great editorials by LW Ghost, including his one on maintenance. Also, to navigate the site a little bit better, if you were looking for just LW Ghost articles, actually click on his name, and it'll give you a list of all the articles he's ever written right there. So
And by the way, I have been lobbying the powers that be at that Park Place, and I just got word, I guess it was earlier today, from Pro himself, that they're finally going to do what I've been suggesting, which is to create a kind of a TV guide page where all of our various regular broadcasts are listed with the times and the locations so that you can find us easier. Because, one of the great things about these articles is they get picked up all out there around the universe and referred back to the page, but that doesn't mean they see these shows. So once they get here, I thought it'd be great if we had a schedule of everything in one place. And it turns out they were just waiting for the wonderful new Lauren and Apollo show to get its feet wet and get regular. And it is now officially to do that. So that's coming soon. Honest, I'm promised it is. And
absolutely.
Now, if you guys will only do the other thing I keep bugging you about, which is to increase your damn cursor size, because when you scan across some of these articles, it's like, did a fly land on my screen or what? But anyway, I'm picky that way.
Well, I know you're picky about a great many of things, and one of those things being what you guys do over there at the Genre Guys. Lou, what do you got coming up for the people at home?
Well, as I mentioned, we just recorded. Something just came up this week, and I forget which one, but we just recorded. There's the picture. If you go over to the back channels to Ron, he's got the picture that I sent him of the Teen Titans on the screen.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, let me see if I can get
which is pretty damn funny. Anyway, we just did, as I said, Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman, who can do no wrong, as Churchill, and also Dean Martin as Matt Helm. And as we pointed out, the Matt Helm books are not funny. They're not light. The real Matt Helm, as written by Donald Hamilton, is a pretty hardcore killer. But of course, Dean, brings in babes and booze and fun. And by the way, when you watch that movie, as you'll learn on our Genre Guys, he travels in a customized station wagon that has kind of a back seat with a bed area and all kinds of neat stuff. Guess who customized that station wagon? Chuck Barris, he of Batmobile fame.
Really?
It's not credited in the movie, but that's who did it. So we found that out. And you see, that's the kind of stuff you find out on the Genre Guys. But we're about, again, to do the Blackbird, the Maltese Falcon, which I happen to own one. I went to a mystery weekend thing years and years ago, and I won. I guessed who done it. And the prize was made from the original mold an exact replica of the Maltese Falcon. So the stuff that dreams are made out of, or plaster of Paris, whichever comes first.
I think we
and
have
then of
right
Touch of
now.
Evil, which we mentioned earlier. So those are the ones coming, and we have more and more and more and more. And of course, again, to remind everyone, the Genre Guys shows up as a member perk on the Pro channel. And if you are one of the people, because there's so many generous people that when the Pro show is on, donate 10, 20, 50 memberships, and suddenly your name turns green. It's one of the things you can go and enjoy. But two things about that. One, a month later, you're going to get a little message from YouTube saying, hey, want to stay a member? Just give us X. That's not us denting you for money. It's them. But we hope you find it valuable enough to go ahead and do that because it helps us out, obviously. But then a couple of months later, notice I'm using the word couple, as in sort of, kind of, maybe a few. Vash gets hold of them and adds more pictures and more value and puts them on here for freebies. So on T3PO. So, you know, you have two ways of seeing it. And in each case, as with all of our offerings, including this show, it makes a huge, big, enormous difference now if you will just, if you liked it, click that little thumbs up like button, because YouTube is now counting what they call interactions, or what is the word that they use? Is that it? Interactions? Anyway, they're counting those very strongly when deciding whether to share us with other people who may not otherwise be aware of us. And of course, that's how we get the word out. And of course, you are totally free to share us with your friends anyway. I did with a friend earlier today who wasn't aware of it. So there you go. He's probably out there right now.
Probably. And guess what? Here, I got I got the screen cap, Lou. There you go. That's it. The Cartoon Network program right there.
There you go.
They're.
I tell you, I thought cartoons were just for grown-ups, but little did I know kids can enjoy them too.
I guess so. That was an unfortunate short. That's for sure. But
well, you know, that was the late great Dick Shawn had a one-man show called The Greatest Entertainer in the World, and in it it was a brilliant show. I saw it several times, and he sings this song about, my name is Mr. Super Fantabulous Fabulous Junior, but you can call me Fanny Fabby Jew, as an abbreviation. So.
Yeah. There you go. I like this right here. Lady Donegan just made a YouTube list of loose jukebox, so
loose.
I
am loose in some ways, but
yeah.
I'm old. What do you want from me?
I think it's dictation, right? So it's Lou, but jukebox, so I can go back and listen to it later. That's a great, fantastic idea right there. I think I might do that. That's a good idea. I like that. Fantastic.
From the mouths of babes, as they say.
Oh yes,
but we're sort of hitting the point of no return, aren't we? Or pretty close.
Yes. Well, we're
going to send you on to a fantastic show.
Absolutely.
The Wonderful World of Ron Bradley and Follow the Bradleys Fun. The dish. The dish.
Indeed. Let me go ahead and
put this you'll see that the dish will run away with the spoon here very shortly.
I absolutely love Follow the Bradleys Fun, as everybody knows right here. Ron does some amazing
when they told
stuff.
you they were taking out the river, they didn't tell you we were putting in a wonderfully Pirates of the Caribbean-esque swamp instead.
I can smell it now. No,
I'll bet. Wait a week or two.
We are going to be redirecting you over to this program right here, which is going to start in about 3 minutes. So we got to get you right over. But I wanted to go ahead and thank Ron for not only creating that content, but letting us know, hey, look, listen, let's go ahead and get people over. So I do agree with that sentiment. We are going to be having T3PO Live this week. It is coming back. I do apologize for the week hiatus, but man, there's been a lot of traveling, there's been a lot of moving, there's been a lot of great stories, there's been a lot of stuff. So hopefully I'm going to get back into the regular swing of things, which is going to be very, very good. It's going to be T3PO Live at 3 p.m. Eastern following the Pro Show. Definitely check us out on the channel you watch right now.
I'll be around.
If you haven't subscribed yet.
As far as I know.
Oh yeah. Oh, Lou is
No,
absolutely
I'm
there.
not saying you would reject me. I'm saying real life might get in the way, but otherwise I'll be there.
That's it.
You know, by the way, those of you out there without real lives, get one.
Yeah,
End of message.
I do. I do agree with that.
There's more to life than podcasts and YouTube, and not for
I
us,
don't.
but for you.
I don't have the show notes in front of me right now, but I know we're going to be talking about probably my reaction to the Walt Disney there.
Yes,
I've heard a lot of people. Oh, good.
You went hoping it would do its spasmodic act, and it didn't, and you were disappointed. That's how strange we've become, right? So,
No.
gosh, maybe I can get it on TV. So,
Well, I was able to
some
watch
imagination,
it
huh?
I was able to watch it twice, and no issues there. And I do have some roll of it too, which is great. But I think the reactions from somebody who has seen it as part of that Park Place, I think is valuable. But also too, I've heard a lot of people say, "Hey, it's better in person." Find out my thoughts on that program right there. It's 3 p.m. Eastern at 2 on Tuesday. Following the Pro Show, definitely check us out. And Hollywood Backlot every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
And Genre Guys, and then I'm usually, not always, but usually now on the new Monday night super secret double probation Pro Show.
Right.
If I'm awake
yes,
and conscious and all that.
And
so, wherever there is danger, you will find me.
Indeed.
Wherever there is trouble, I'll be there.
Absolutely.
With a plethora of things to say, some of them worth listening to, I hope. Anyway, thank you, everybody.
Nothing's worthless, Lou. Nothing's worthless. And for that, thank you so much for joining us on our show right here. Walter Tomaszewski, Eric Stratton, Juliet, Jan Monroe, Jay from Drunk 3PO, obviously, Deborah there, everybody for joining us. Thank you so much. You are the gigawatts that make this show happen, as Pro actually says. Let's go ahead and get you on over there to All the Bradley's Fun, which is, it's going to be currently already in progress. Thank you so much, guys. Very much appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and share us out if you really do like us for all the news. That should be fun. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.